Hello, YouTube channel. Today I bring you one of the very important interview questions, or rather I would say the mandatory questions that we need to know answers for. And I personally feel this video and the last video that I have published are two very important videos that you should definitely look in before you start attending the interviews. So before wasting much time, let us get started. So So here are certain things that we definitely need to know. First one is Tableau components. Because we are all working professionals in Tableau, we should definitely know what are the different components of Tableau available. So the question might be here, some might call as components or products. So we have like Tableau Desktop is there, server is there, reader, public, mobile, and prep. So while answering this question, you should also explain what is the purpose of each product. So these are the primary components of Tableau. But after it got merged with Salesforce, you will see many products listed in the website there. But for us, from Tableau's perspective, these are all something that we will be using at some point of time. Tableau Desktop for development, server to publish report, reader to use the free application, public to build our profile, mobile for devices or the reports to be able in mobile, or for some data cleansing we use Tableau Prep. So now again, the purpose of each one here, what is Tableau Reader, what is Tableau Online? So Tableau Online is nothing but a Tableau server, but it is a cloud-based application. So now again, what is Tableau Desktop architecture? So we should also be in a state like where we should be able to explain what is the uh, standard architecture of ETL. So simple, like it is almost very similar to an architecture of ETL, extraction, connecting to different thing. And let me see if I have that. Mm, so I think I don't have that handy. I'll post that in the the description box, and also I'll post this in the description box. You can copy the questions from there, and I'll also provide a link if at all you want for this document. You can copy it from there. So now after that, what is the advantage of Tableau? So again, this is something that we should be at least aware of. What is the because of its inline memory, or vizsql, or its data engine. All we should be aware of. Hyper is the Tableau's engine. Okay, so all the backend operation that it performs, like connecting to database, creating visualizations, all this is being done by Tableau's engine called as Hyper. Okay, so that's why whenever you are saving a workbook, you'll see an option as Hyper there. Okay, so on which OS Tableau Desktop supports? So currently this is available on Mac and Windows, but server is available on Mac, Windows, and I think it is also on Linux. So you have to be aware of. But from Tableau developers perspective, we can tell this too. So again, it is always better to remember the different points for with respect to the versions, because Tableau always brings in new concepts or new functions or new charts kind of thing in with the new releases. So we should be aware, like at least of one version. If you are using some, assume some you are using 2020.1. So what is the latest version that is available in the market, and what are the features that are in there, and what are the features that are there in the current version that you are using. So we should know about that. So that is the expectation. So these are like very theoretical questions. So next I will move on to uh, again 10th question talks about the data types of Tableau. And we all know about this, like date string data type, measures, number data type, date type data, and geographical dimensions. And apart from that, based on the calculations that you are writing, some calculation might be derived, like Boolean data. So if the resultant set only gives 0 and 1, then Tableau automatically classifies that as Boolean data type. Next is, what is default? Again, this is one very important question to understand. So whenever we install any application or Windows, you say it always configures for default thing. So similarly, when Tableau is also installed, it configures for default properties. And we can change that. So that is very important. How we can change the default properties is important. So if I click on any of, you can take any dimension or measure, and when you have an option, you see default properties. So from here you can change the comment. What is the default comment color? So like here you say, you might get a doubt why it is only taking blue color here. That is because of the default property. And in that, what is the default color? It is blue color. That's why it is taking blue color. The sum aggregation, again the default aggregation, it is sum, but it need not be that. So if at all you want to change that, you can go to your measure, click on your default properties, under aggregation, you see it is checked on to sum, which means it is by default it is aggregating it sum. But if at all you want to change it to average, now you see, so it will not impact your current sheet, but when you create a new sheet, it will impact. It is now taking average. So that is the importance of default properties, and it is expected we know about this. So we might get a question on this as well. So again, one standard question that we might get, what is a live and extract connection, or difference between live and extract connection, sorry. And the way to answer is how or when you will choose a live connection versus extract connection. Okay, and what are the pros and cons in both the things. So you need to explain this. So I think I've already explained in my previous video, so I'm not wasting time on that. So explain how extract file is created, or what is the format again. So so one question I would write, like how many extensions of Tableau do you know? Okay, so that is also one of the important questions. So dot td is there, dot tbm is there, twb is there, twbx is there, Tableau workbook twb, packaged workbook twbx, dot td Tableau data extract, Tableau bookmark file tbm, and tps Tableau maps. So all that extension, so this is something that will give an interviewer the awareness that okay, this guy knows many extensions, which means it indicates that okay, he has worked genuinely. Because as long as if you're working on a day to day in on Tableau, it is at certain point of time we face all of this extensions, or we come across all of these formats. That's why it is important. So again, like say, so Tableau data engine, like I said, hyper is Tableau data engine. Then how can I say that? So if I go here and click on save as, you see here generally it shows as hyper. Let me go and click on save. Save as. So it used to show here as hyper, but it is not showing now. But earlier it used to show. So let me open new workbook here and we'll try that. Hold on for a second here. So I'm connecting to sample superstore here, and let's say we create a simple chart here with respect to order date and sales. And now I'm going to save. Okay, now it is not showing. Earlier it used to show the hyper as the extension here. Okay, now coming back to, so what is Tableau Locale? Again, it is about the language. So language settings, if at all you want to do. So what is the local language, your currency and all. If at all you are working about working on that kind of thing, then Tableau Locale is something that you need to look after. So if I go to my Tableau workbook file, and here we have workbook locale. So I can, it is by default automatic, or you can select the language that you want. So automatically you can shift to any language that you want. Okay, again, one important thing that we need to know. So, and difference between packaged and unpackaged workbook, which means basically it is they are talking about .twbx and .twb. So what is happening in these two cases? So packaged workbook means your underlying data is also attached to the workbook. whereas .twb means it is like a skeleton of the workbook. So only when you connect to your data source, your values will pop up. So that is what it is telling. Suppose I create a workbook and I share it by connecting to Superstore. I've created one workbook, but while sharing it, I'm sharing it in .twb format. Now what happens is only if you have that sample Superstore in your workbook, you will be able to connect or see my report. If not, it like your entire report will go black. Whereas if I share the report in .twbx, the underlying data is also copied and saved in the workbook. Now if I share the workbook in .twbx format, then my data is also sent to you. Now when you open the workbook, you can also see the data in that. So that is the difference between .twb and twbx. So again, now, so some questions about the dual axis and what is blended axis. So dual means basically like two. When we are merging to two axes, it is a dual axis. Like we are working with multiple measures and we want to create some combined chart. Then in that case of cases we can use, or we will use the concept of dual axis. Okay, so and why we use synchronized axis, again this is one important step when we use dual axis concept, because we have multiple axes generated. We might want to synchronize them so that it does not create any confusion for the end user. So that is the synchronize option here. And next we have some questions about actions and how many types of actions are there, all that we need to be aware of. And what is highlight functions work on dashboard? Yes. And what is context filter? Some very important question here. I'll mark it as star. And yeah, difference between, so like often when I take the interviews, I have observed that when I ask about context filter, many fail to answer. So here we need to understand the working concept of a normal filter and a context filter. Okay, so we can simply say it as a filter on a filter. Okay, fine, but how does the behavior of a context filter change? So normal filter and context filter is like, normal filters are independent filters, context filters are dependent filters, because we are filtering the data on a already filtered data. Like suppose I want to find out top 5 customers of March 2022, whereas I have data for, like say, from 2020 to 2022. Now what I need to do, first I need to filter the data for year, where I will get only 2022, and then in that again I have to filter for March, and in that March I have to find out top 5 customers. So what are we doing here? First we are filtering the data at top level, and on that filtered data we are applying a filter called top 5. So that is context filter here. Okay, so that's why you see normal filter and context filter always gives us a different answers. So I'll post the link of that context filter also. You can go through that. And so why we use quick filters? So basically when we are deriving or designing a dashboard, we design it with an intention that we want to make our report interactive. Okay, so the more user interact with their data, the better understanding it gives for them. So quick filters are part of that thing. So it will allow user to interact with the report, to apply the filter of his choice. Okay, so we cannot keep the report static. So today is the world where we want everything to be dynamic. Okay, so that's why we have these quick filters which are visible on the dashboard. Now user can select or play with the actions here. And now conditional formatting again. So conditional formatting is again one very important concept in Tableau to understand and show the report, specifically if at all you are displaying the data in cross tab report. Okay, so in that kind of cases, how do we format? Like I said earlier, cell level formatting is there. label level formatting is there, KPI level formatting is there. So that is conditional formatting, which can be done in 3 ways. Okay, so I'll see if there is any, I think video is there on this also. I'll post a link, you can see that in the description box. So how many charts are there in Tableau? So by default in Show Me there are 24 charts available in Tableau, but there are more that we can do apart from what that is shown in Show Me. So always try to explore new charts, create new charts rather than what statically available in Tableau. Use dual access concept, use your marks option and create new charts. That is what the end user or the client or the interviewer is expecting when he asks you this type of question, like what is the new chart that you have prepared. That is something that he always asks, and majority I get answer is like we will donut chart we tell. So we have to grow beyond donut chart, see what else we can do, something like that, like rounded bar chart or using a combination of bar and line chart, something like that. So what is a combination chart again? So it's a combination of multiple charts together, like a bar and line, bar and area, like that. So that's a combinational chart. What is cross tab report? So data which is in tabular form is cross tab. So like I said, many of the users are more interested in knowing their numbers than seeing the visualization. So that's why I always tell in my every video, focus on your number first, then you can create visualization, but first number is important. Okay, so this like next few questions are like when we use line chart, bar chart and pie chart. So whenever we have or whenever we are doing an analysis over a period of time, line chart is something that is recommended by Tableau. This is something that we need to know. When we are comparing values, then bar chart. When we want to know the distribution of data, then pie chart is something that is recommended. So we should at least know, like what chart to use and all. So at least try to get definition of few charts before you start actually implementing. Okay, so next is again, what is data blending? Very important, many fail to understand. So here what when I say data blending, what is important here is the working concept of data blending is very important. Maybe it might not help you in interview, but when you are actually building your report in real time, it will definitely help you, because we need to understand how the data is flowing in data blending. So what is actually difference between join and data blending? Okay, what are the limitations, how the uh, data will come, that we need to know here. So but what is the static answer that we give? We tell that whenever different whenever we are using different type of data sources, blending concept comes into picture. This is what we tell, but beyond that we should know how the data is impacting. That is important here. Okay, so I'll post a link of this also. This is also available, you can go through them. And what are the rules here? So rules means there should be at least one common column between the two data sources that you are trying to connect and get the data. That is one important. And if you're trying to get the data at more granular level, then means we should have more connection with the data, or there should be more data common data fields between two fields, then only it is possible. Okay, so can we convert again? So this is something related to format. If at all you want to show some rupee symbol or dollar symbol in front of your measure, how we can do that? Again, this is also an important interview question. So those who have frequently worked on Tableau, they will know how we can do this. So just like say I'm dropping it here and I want to show some number here, you can click on this format and currency custom, then here you can add. Now you see rupee automatically is coming in. So you can decide how many decimals of data you need and what is this symbol that you want to have. So you can prefix, or from currency you can directly choose here. So I think yeah, so here you can write, paste it here. So from here also we can choose. So if you choose country, automatically currency will come. If I choose like say US, it is showing again different symbols. So like that you can customize how you want your data to be displayed. Now after that, how can we change date formats? So this again, you can go to any date field that you want. So here you can click on this and you can change it. So what is important here is what is the formula that it is generating when you are converting. That is important for us to understand, because this formulas again you can use it in any different places. Like if I open my notepad here, can paste it. So this is the formula. So it is using date part is the function, and year is the keyword, and order date is the field that we have. It is getting year from the order date. But when I change it to month, again it is different. Click on this, and if I double click, Control A, Control C, and if I paste it, this is the formula that it is using to derive that logic, to convert your date into month, something that we should know, or it can be asked in interview also. And next is what is YTD and YTM calculations. Again, this is something that we should always all be aware of, not only with respect to Tableau. Anything you take, how we can calculate year. YTD means year till date, or year to date calculation, or year to month calculation. So there are some standard formulas for that you can use. Now again, this is something important. Explain difference between now and today. What is the difference? So today means it will give us today's date, if at all I am using. So let us go to Tableau and see how it affects. So I'm simply clearing this, and I will write it as test here. And if I use today, it will give us today's date. So I'll just take this test and I will drop it on label. I'll make it exact date so that we know what it is. So it is displaying 29/3, which means we are getting today's date. But now if I use now instead, it is giving with the timestamp. So the difference is today will have date, whereas now will have today's date with the time. So we can use both with respect to our requirement. So what is date diff? If at all we want to subtract or do a difference between two dates, then we can use date diff. Again, this is a date function here basically. So why we use parameter control? So to bring in dynamicity, we can use parameters. So here I would suggest I have at least 2 to 3 use cases ready, so that whenever in case interviews they ask, give me one use case of parameter, you should be able to readily tell with confidence. Okay, that is something that we can always tell about. Then what else is important here? The rest are all theoretical questions here. So how to apply sort? So here I would suggest use try to learn about a dynamic sort, how we can do dynamic sort. Suppose user want to sort only on sales, or user want to sort on profit. How can you customize that? Okay, so try to build a logic for that. If not, let me know. I'll help you with that by creating one video on that dynamic sort. And then yeah, I think so. These are the next is like scheduling task, level permission, security. How do we apply security to our data? So in Tableau, if at all we go to functions here, and if I click on this, and here we have an option called as a user. If you click on this, so these are some something that we can use to add security to our data. Or another filter is there at server. We have an option called as create a user filter. This is something that we can use to provide security to our data. So like suppose I have region by sales, and each region I have different manager, and they should not see each other's data. So how can I do? I can select the region, and but after that we have to connect to server, and then select the manager from each region and assign them permission. So each region, they will not be overlapped with others data. So that's how we can provide security to our data. So security related questions we might get a lot. Security and performance, these are two something that are very important. So like you might get question like did how will you improve the performance of your dashboard? Something that should be, that we should always be, sorry, that we all should be aware of. Okay, so Tableau performance, how will you improve the performance of the Tableau dashboard? So one thing I want all of you to have answer for this. So if you don't know, let me know. I can prepare a video on this and I can post it. Okay, so I think I request all of you to go through this uh, Tableau questions and have answers ready for this. This will definitely help you in answering the questions. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye bye.